Thank you very much for all being here during the last session. We've had a really fascinating day. I, of course, had the opportunity to be present throughout the opening session, and I heard parts of the last session. So if both those sessions are any indication, I would say this has been a great conclave organized by the Economic Division. This, incidentally, is the grand finale of this conclave, because we have three chief ministers, two union ministers participating in this session. And of course, I have to perform the unusual task of moderating, which I've never done earlier. So that will also enable me to speak a little less. Because in such discussions, we are normally used to participating in another capacity altogether. Now, we have chief ministers of three states, Shri Chandrababu Naidu, Andhra Pradesh, Chief Minister of a state where he has been twice earlier the Chief Minister of the undivided state of Andhra Pradesh, and now has a greater challenge. A greater challenge because he's known for his leadership, he's known for his drive, he's also known for his entrepreneurship in leading a state. And this is a state where he has to write on a clean slate and start in many areas from the very beginning. And therefore, there's a lot of avenues for him to perform. We have the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Shri Devendra Fadnavis, who's trying to put the systems within Maharashtra back on a growth track itself. Dr. Raman Singh heads probably one of the most difficult states in India to administer. He's a third-term chief minister, and it's a state which is occasionally disturbed by insurgency, which has a lot of tribal population but is mineral rich, and therefore a state where he has an opportunity and both a challenge, facing all these difficulties of enabling it to grow. And the fact that he's been elected thrice continuously itself is symbolic of the quality of leadership that he's provided. And of course, we have the Minister for Oil and Natural Gas, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan, and my colleague in the central government in the Ministry of Finance, Shri Jayant Sinha. Now, since JAM Trinity has been the key subject, I'll start with Shri Dharmendra Pradhan, particularly because the oil sector reforms in this area have been most significant. And I'd request him to tell the audience here as to what all he has done and what is his immediate game plan and the roadmap further as far as the oil and natural gas ministry is concerned. Generally, having heard from the oil and natural gas minister about the sector where there have not been reforms in this area, and also the three chief ministers, I'll request my colleague Jayant Sinha to just give an overview of where we stand and what he sees as the roadmap ahead. Well, this brings us to the end. I have just one or two observations to make. One fact that was mentioned by Nandan also towards the end of his session is that steps must be taken in order to remove this sense of uncertainty as far as Aadhaar is concerned. I think now across the political spectrum, in state government after state government, political groups after political groups, the need for this and the utility for this has been universally recognized. We are at a situation where there is a challenge pending in a court. And normally courts entertain challenges on issues which are judicially determinable. As to what should be the methodology adopted in governance is not really a judicially determinable matter. It's a matter for the executive government to decide. Having said this, courts can be concerned if fundamental rights are violated by a particular executive action. And the whole emphasis is on the right of privacy, which is allegedly violated as far as those who filed those petitions is concerned. The courts have got involved in a larger dispute between a view taken in the 1950s and another view taken in the 1990s as to whether privacy is a part of a fundamental right of liberty or not, because there are two conflicting views. Now that will take its own time as far as its resolution is concerned. But I think we can't have a situation where Aadhaar is acceptable for certain kind of measures to be adopted by the government, but not acceptable with regard to certain other kind of measures. There'll have to be a universal standard to be laid down. I'm quite certain that the litigation, the viewpoint of the government and those interested in enforcing it would certainly be placed before the court. And if it's necessary, the draft legislation is already ready. And therefore, that is some step which at some stage the government can take a decision to enforce. Now, it's not merely scholarships and pensions and LPG and kerosene and food and Manrega or property transactions. I think the enormity of this in taxation matters also has to be analyzed. It can lead to a large amount of saving. It can prevent a large amount of evasion as far as taxations are concerned. And therefore, probably the government would try to place the stand before the court. And I think both options of being in court and before the legislature would always be open to any executive government. I think this being clear would probably have some reflection on the issue of uncertainty which was just now raised. Aadhaar and the JAM Trinity are here to stay. The benefits are being felt, and as in the bread and butter issues, as Jayant put it, the chief ministers have explained how they are able to implement it and get the necessary benefit out of this. This discussion has been of extreme utility and value to all of us. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Raman Singh ji. Thank you very much, Shri Phadnavis and Devendra ji. And thank you very much, Jayant, for this participation.